Hey, thanks for showing up. My name is Phil Tinalia, and I am with Matrix Goes to School. And what I want to do today is I want to show you how I bring the Matrix to school each day. So come on in. So my day pretty much starts out this way. I come up these stairs early in the morning, try and get here before anybody else. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And what we're going to do is I'm going to bring you into my office. I'm going to show you the point of view I use. So here we are. It's a short walk. And come on in. Make yourself comfortable. And now, over here, I already have, in each day, I draw the matrix up on my whiteboard. And basically, I train educators and I work with students to use the matrix as a point of view to have what I call collaborative conversations. Because collaborative conversations usually lead toward people coming together, working for a purpose, with less stress, and with more productivity. And that's exactly what happens when teachers and students start using this point of view. So the way that it works is, this is a visual diagram of how we learn. Everything you've ever learned has come in through your five senses, so we start up here at the top. See, hear, touch, taste, smell. All that information flows down inside of us, and it becomes what is known as mental experience, and I just call it our minds. Thoughts, feelings, images, memories, all that stuff. And all of that stuff is happening right now as I'm speaking and as you're listening. You're having a five-sense experience, I'm having a five-sense experience at this end, and we're both having different mental experiences. And that's happening right now in the present moment. Now, along with that, everything that we do in our lives is we're doing to either move toward who or what's important, or we're doing things to move away from yucky stuff that shows up inside of us that gets in the way of moving toward who and what's important. So pretty much we can notice there's a difference between what's going on outside of us and what's going on inside of us. And if we can notice what we're moving toward versus what we're trying to get away from, we're in a very good position to do this thing called be psychologically flexible, which is basically noticing what works to get you where you want to go. So with my learners, with my students, they would come in just the way you are, and they would be sitting here with me, and I would be asking them 4 simple questions which are going to map up here onto the matrix. The first question I ask everybody is, who's important to you? And typically the responses that I get from young and old, my mom or my dad, if you're an adult, partner, spouse, whatever, it's family, right? So the other thing that I hear a lot is my friends are important to me. And I say great to that. And also, we're here in the context of school, so I will also be hearing that teachers are important to me. That's a good thing, right? So we have a bit of a conversation and we notice who's important to them. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, but then sometimes stuff shows up on the inside that might get in the way of you moving toward who's important to you. Yucky stuff, an example I might use would be fear. So fear might show up inside of you, and it's kind of sticky and uncomfortable, and you don't want it, and you kind of want to get rid of it, or get away from it. So stuff like that. So then we might have a conversation about what, if anything, might be showing up inside of them and getting in the way. And the typical responses that I hear are things like fear, but I will hear also things like boredom, they might say, or tired is very popular in school. Anger is another one that's very popular. Hear that a lot. Frustration. People got tests and stuff coming up, so frustration. And sometimes just basic, I'm sad, right? So we just kind of get that stuff out and we put it up on the board, same way I'm doing here with you. And my third question to them is now going to be, now when the stuff shows up inside of you, what's the immediate thing that you want to do? What would I see you do out there in the world if that stuff was showing up inside of you? Like, let's say fear, for example, was showing up inside of you. What might you do to get away from the fear? Well, the basic thing that people might do, they might basically run to get away from the fear or avoid to get away from that situation, right? Where that fear is showing up inside of them. For boredom, what I will hear very often that students will do to move away from boredom is they might put their head down. I'm sure you've probably seen people do this wherever you're at. Same thing for tired, right? For anger, the number one thing that I might hear is people might yell, or they might argue to move away from that uncomfortable feeling of anger that shows up inside of them. Likewise, for frustration, they might just quit. I'm done. I quit. I'm out of here. Putting my pen down. I'm going home. Sadness, the thing for sadness that I hear a lot that people will do is they might say that they might cry to move away from their sadness. Now, my last question to them is, well, what do you want to be able to do to keep moving toward who's important to you? And I'm going to give you credit because you've already done something very important today. And what you've done is you have shown up, right? You've come to school, so you're here, right? But now, if we look at your family, what do you want to do to be able to move toward, let's say, your mom or your dad? Well, a simple thing that they might tell me is they might want to just go and talk to their mom or dad, right? With their friends, what they basically will tell me is they want to go hang out with their friends, go and hang out, and whatever their friends are doing, they want to be doing it too. For their teachers, well, heck, you've already shown up, so that's going to be the first step that they've made. So once you've shown up, what are some things that you want to do to keep moving toward your teachers? Well, they might want to go to class. And then, when they go to class, they might want to do something that would move them towards learning, right? So they could ask a question, or they could share a response, right? And all of these things then become the things that they do to move toward. So then at the end, we could step back and we could say that what we've been doing here is we're just simply doing this thing called noticing. And they've been doing a nice job so far. They've been noticing who's important to them. They've been noticing stuff that shows up that gets in the way. They've been noticing things that they do out there in the world to move away from what they don't want. And they've been noticing what they want to be able to do to keep moving toward who and what's important. And it's a very interesting point of view, and it has absolutely changed my professional way I approach situations with teachers and students, and it's had big changes for me personally. And I can attest to the fact that other people have given me similar feedback, that it just works really well to get people moving toward who and what's important to them with less struggling with this uncomfortable stuff. So I invite you to check out the rest of my website and email me if you have any questions or if you want to get more information, or you can call me, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.